for letting me come and be with you. And thank you for extending a call to Pastor Casey and his family. This has been a long time coming, hasn't it? And isn't it most interesting that your call process moved most quickly during the pandemic? Like, it's been years. Think of how you as a people have changed since Pastor Joel was here. How have you grown? Who's come in? Who's not here anymore? And what will happen next? It's a time of excitement and joy, and it's wonderful to be talking about call and vision as you all look to the future of what will be next. I'm thankful that Casey let me preach today on the Gospel of Mark because it's so much fun. I love Mark because I think he may have had some difficulty paying attention to things. So he kind of is like me. Because did you notice twice already in our reading today, they use the word immediately. Everything happens in Mark immediately. They don't take time, they don't think about things, they don't ponder, so they definitely weren't Lutheran. But they do everything right now it's happening. And Mark is so excited about this story and so excited about calling the disciples that Mark doesn't even start with the Christmas story. He starts with Jesus was born, and then he turns to John. And he talks about John's ministry, and then he talks about Jesus' ministry. And that's where we are today. As Jesus goes around collecting disciples and having them go with him to see what's next. Now, Jesus was out in the wilderness. You know, he's out doing his thing. He's out walking around. He's not in a home. He goes down to the lake, and he sees fishermen, and he says to them, "Come with me and I'll make you fishers of people." We all know the song from Sunday school. We love this passage. But we don't often think about what this means. Imagine if somebody walked up to the family farm that's been in your family for generations and said, "Leave everything and come with me." What would that do to your family? I imagine that there would be some very strong words. And there had to be very strong words from their family members at this point. What are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you following this man? He doesn't even have any money. This was crazy. And sometimes we turn the craziness of the Bible into everyday things. Jonah was swallowed by a whale. That's crazy. These disciples left everything. They left security, they left their homes, they left their families, and they went out wandering with Jesus. Sometimes that's what call is. The other fascinating piece about this part of the story is that there's the word follow me. Now, everybody knows follow is a verb, and this is where I get a little English teachery that you just can't put away a teacher once you've been a teacher. This is what's called a present verb. So it's something that has happened, that happens right now, and continues to happen. So Jesus saying to the disciples, "Follow me," isn't a one-time action. It's a daily action. Every day we're being called to follow and follow again and turn back towards God and turn back towards the work that we need to do. Because we need to always focus on what's next. Because you see, there's something so fascinating about doing the work that you all do. No one else can do it. No one else has ever been the pastor of Redeemer Lutheran Church in Hooper, Nebraska, during a pandemic. Only Pastor Casey can do that. Pastor Joel was here before, and who knows what's going to happen next? Who knows where you'll walk together? That's the other fascinating piece of where you all sit in the ministry that you all do, is that no one who's been here before knows how to minister to the people of Hooper now, the way you do. No one who has sat in your pew before, and no one who will sit in your pew eventually. No one knows how to do your work like you. Ooh, that's exciting. Things happen together, and things are always working. As we've just seen, people are called to so many different pieces of ministry. EMTs, nurses, and doctors are in a more difficult position than they've ever been in before, and yet they answer that call. That's not just a piece of what they like to do, but it's their call from God to be God's people. Each one of us is called to do something different. Nurses, doctors, farmers, musicians are all called to do God's work. This day, this passage calls you to do it well, and to do it with the most grace and integrity that you can, sometimes making interesting or difficult choices. Now, a couple of months ago, you as a congregation met, and you said that you would love to have Pastor Casey as your permanent pastor. And Pastor Casey also responded by saying that he would love to be your permanent pastor. But Pastor Casey, I need to confess, knowing this congregation for the last couple of years, they sometimes make bad choices. And congregation, also knowing Pastor Casey for the last couple of years, you need to know he sometimes makes bad choices. Your coming together is not one of those bad choices. But there will be times as you walk forward in your relationship together that you're not going to like what the other person's doing. I'm sorry, but that's what ministry is. And so it's the best of relationships, but it's also the most difficult. Because everyone here does have their own call, as does Pastor Casey. So that you're called to be unified and come together. That's the best part of all of this. This isn't just a party and an annual meeting to go on as usual. This is a celebration of what can be. This day, we come together to celebrate a new relationship. It's a new thing that's happening. Thank you for doing this during a crazy time in our world. Thank you for thinking about what's next and what could be and what's possible. Thank you for being the people that God needs you to be here. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.